So, other than finishing second and hoping for a playoff spot next season, what are the aims? Now, obviously, last year was you've lost it just due to so many injuries, and
Yeah.
like rivalry aside, that just sucks for any team just to have that many injuries. I'm guessing the sort of the main objective, is to keep as many players fit as you can, and then sort of just go from there, just because of the amount of talent that is in that team, just naturally.
Yeah, they have so much depth. I think it's weird how the NFC West has kind of shifted. Okay. I think you have the Seahawks and the Rams who are saying, we're going to get as many elite players as possible and depth be damned. Like, we want Wagner, we want Adams, we want Russell Wilson, we want these top level DK Metcalf type elite players. But then the middle of the lineup's rough, and it's even worse with the Rams. I think they got like 4 or 5 dudes, and that's it. They have cut. So they lost like 4 starters on that defense last year. But then you've got the Cardinals and the 49ers that, again, they're kind of stocking up the shelves. And so not so much top end elite talent, but a lot more kind of jacks and queens, I guess you could say, card term, right? In that basket. So Kyle Shanahan, his whole thing, injuries won't beat us this year. Even if we have injuries, we've established the depth to where that cannot be an excuse at almost every position besides wide receiver. So yeah, I think you're planning on winning the division. And I think there's 3 teams. I don't consider Arizona a contender yet, but I think Seattle, you've got Los Angeles, the Rams, and the 49ers. Those 3 teams, I mean, it's almost flip a coin. They're all so damn good. And if I'm just looking at rosters, I'm saying the Rams and 49ers have the edge, but neither of those teams have Russell Wilson. And he's kind of the outlier that just defies all odds over and over and over again.
Unless he starts this season like he ended the last season, then there could be big.
That was the worst 10-game stretch of his career by a long shot.
Could the cliff hits quarterbacks out of nowhere? He could be gone. He could be halfway to the center of the earth, Dara.
Well, come on, guys.
Oh, he's hurt.
Let's be a little realistic. Come on.
You got a marshmallow at offensive line to try and protect them.
Look, this could be the last year I have Russell Wilson. I'm going to make the most of it, No, but seriously, look, I was actually going to ask, what did you make of the Cardinals? Because I can't quite put my finger on what they're trying to be. They sort of, obviously with Cliff Kingsbury and his offensive system where he loves to go 5 wide with the receivers, but it was a lot of run heavy stuff there last year. The guys that they're bringing in, JJ Watt, I think you're hoping you're going to get like JJ Watt from like 4 or 5 years ago. Same with AJ Green. You're trying to get AJ Green from 4 or 5 years ago. Do they think they're still in 2016 or something, or like what's going on over there?
You almost have to go back before 2016 with a lot of these guys. Like, that's even too recent. And here's my thing. The roster looks good. The best thing I can say about the Cardinals is this. They're getting Chandler Jones back, who I think, got robbed a defensive player of the year a few years ago. He's incredible. But Kingsbury's my personal opinion is the worst coach in the NFL, and it's not close. This is the same coach that couldn't get a winning record in the Big 12 with Baker Mayfield and Patrick Mahomes, still couldn't get a winning record. Like, he puts people out of position. Why half of his team isn't tall enough to ride a roller coaster? I don't understand. Why do you keep getting guys that need booster seats? I don't understand it. Like, that hasn't translated to the NFL yet, but he's just dead set. Oh, guys 5'7", get him. Like, I don't understand. I'm not a fan of what they're doing there.
Maybe he watched too much basketball. He's going for that small ball.
There you go.
Go underneath, run under
That's
everybody.
Right. He's a Muggsy Bogues fan. Who would have guessed?
I love the very obvious interdivision hate going on.
It's just poor coaching bothers me, right? So, like, I watch Seattle and I get upset because, 1, they're good, and 2, they won't protect Russell Wilson. Like, even though I hate Seattle and I want him to lose every game, it bothers me. Like, I hate that he's the most sacked quarterback and he's so damn talented. And so whenever you're watching the Cardinals and you see so much talent and you draft a guy like Isaiah Simmons out of Clemson, who's a hell of a phenomenal athlete, and you play him in 3 separate positions in 3 games, like, you're doing a disservice to football. Like, come on, what are you doing? You're not developing, you're ruining talent. And that bothers me. Like, I should be happy, but like the inside, like, yeah, I'm a former football coach. And so like I watch it, I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, you can't do that. But having said that, I hope he stays there forever. I hope he never gets fired.
I mean, Simmons should have been Darius Leonard. Like, he had all that hype coming out. I think Hopkins and blank name, the quarterback. I've forgotten him.
Kyler
Murray. I think they made them look so much better. I think if you remove those two players, I think they're in the bin with the Jets and the Jaguars last season. I really do.
Yeah, and all that you're using, Hopkins for is out routes. That's all he runs. He runs 5-yard out routes and stops. You got one of the best route runners with the best hands and a good quarterback, and all you're doing is out routes and stop routes. Like, I don't like it.
Well, I think that's a team sort of just figured them out for the second half of the season. These read options, teams figured them out so quickly. And look, Kyler Murray just got hurt so much towards the end of the season too. So they'll have to obviously think of something better for him next year. But one more question before we let you go, John. Whose defense is going to be hurt more or take the biggest downturn next year from losing their DCs? The 49ers or the Rams?
Oh, the Rams by a long stretch. I think that they had one of the best, if not the best, defensive coordinator in the league. And not to mention, they have lost 4 or 5 starters on that defense as well. So I think that's key. Now, they upgraded the quarterback position. We'll have to see there. But if you look at the 49ers, they were still a top 10 defense. Now, the Rams were the best last year, but the 49ers were still a top 10 defense despite missing all those injured players. And so now you're bringing all those injured players back for the most part, and you've got a lot more depth on the defensive line and in the cornerback position. So I think the 49ers, again, they don't have as far to drop because they, again, were around that kind of 8 to 10 range. But, man, it's a fall far from number 1, and I think they're going to go a ways down.